Okay, so for week 5, here's my output. There's really nothing new on the output side. Of course, what's new this week is that we cover an array of objects. And I know we've just been introduced to arrays, and throwing objects in there can seem like it's confusing, but you already had some content on objects. And again, this is such a common pattern. It's good to learn. So let me show you mine. So I get into inspect. Again, it comes first into elements. So you go to sources, and then in sources, you click on your app.js. So you can see here at the top, matter of fact, let me go over the array of objects and then I'll step through the code. So basically what I did here is my daily decision, the data that's needed for each decision, then I put in an object that is nested inside the array. And what that allows me to do, and you'll see this in a little while, is iterate over. This is part of the benefit of learning loops, or learning arrays, is that we get to learn looping. So then I can just iterate over, loop over all of these objects in that array. Okay, so I'm going to go down to the bottom, and I have only one function call that's on the global. Okay, and except for the array of objects, I don't think I have any other globals. Okay, that's it. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set my breakpoint. I'm going to refresh my page, and I'm going to run. And again, I tried to, and I said this at one point, is I really tried to label or name my functions and my variables what they are as a way of documenting my code. Okay, so you can tell me if I was successful or not as you read through my code. So loop over daily. Okay. So then I step into this, and then all I'm doing here is I'm doing a for each over the daily, which are all those that array of objects that I showed you. So the for each is a method for the array, and then each time it iterates over each object, I've then called obj for object. And then what I said is for each object now, call process daily and pass that object into it. Okay, so you can actually see, well, we'll see it as we move into it. So let me step into this. So it's going to grab the first one. You can see here it grabbed the first object in that array, and now it's going to pass that object into my next function, process daily. And then in here, there's basically nothing new here except that I had to reference the properties on this object, right? So before, where I just had gem time, I have to reference the object.gemTime, right? And the object.myTurn to drive. And then I had to calculate these things, right? Now these were not part of the object, so I didn't need to reference them that way. I went ahead and kept my output, my global outputs, just so I could have them. So then here, and let's just step through here. Okay, so I'm saying if I have to drive, subtract some time away, set up that variable data. Actually, I just realized I forgot to declare this. That's such a no-no. Okay, so I'm glad I saw that and could talk about it. Here's what happens when you use a variable that has not been declared. JavaScript will make it a global variable, and that's a no-no. We don't want to do that. So I'm glad I stumbled upon that, and I can fix it and tell you about it. Okay, so now I'm going to format my output because I have a function here that just takes in matter of fact, I can show you here. It's going to take in that variable name and a heading. What I mean by that is this function takes that in with the heading, and it just basically does a little front function to set up some things to show on page, which I'm not going to run because we all know what's happening there. Or actually, we're going to learn more about it coming up. And then what comes back is my decision. Okay. So then my decision is actually, oh, actually, no. Now I called decision, sorry. So now I'm passing in those two variables that I need. I'm going to set up, again, there's really nothing different here. I've already kind of gone over this before. And now I'm going to return an object with two properties in there, list and message. Okay. So then I'm going to return that, and then I'm going to format that decision. I'll just output it, kind of what I did before. I'm not going to run that, right? And then I'm done with the first iteration over my array of objects. And then it just keeps running. Okay, so it's going to run for the length of that object array of objects. Okay, I hope this helps you out. And by the way, I hope you caught where I broke my code. And so what I'm going to do is actually show you where I'm going to go back over to, I think it's process. Yeah. So this really could just be const here. Okay. And actually this could be const. Okay. So hope that helped you. Talk to you later.